Hers is dropping its plans to offer a knockoff version of Wegovy's weight loss pill. Last week, it announced that it would be offering its own version. Novo Nordisk, the maker of Wegovy, immediately threatened to sue. The company only began selling the pill of the popular weight loss drug last month.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Now on Good Day Chicago, an eviction hearing will be held today as neighbors in LaGrange are fed up over a house that has been taken over by squatters.
A ransom deadline has come and gone in the case of Nancy Guthrie, the latest in her disappearance.
Hey, taking a live look outside this morning, got some warmer temperatures, and the forecast could even hit the 40s. Good morning and welcome to the 5 a.m. hour of Good Day Chicago. I'm Brian Jackson.
And I'm Gabriela Primus. It actually feels like
the 40s feel like the 70s.
Is that crazy to say? Is that crazy to say? 40 degrees feels like summertime, Mike Kaplan.
Oh, it's so nice. I still have quite a bit of snow in my yard, but it's kind of turning into that mashed potato-y stuff there. A little bit of mush out there. If you still have snow where you are, it's going away over the next couple of days. Getting the kids to the bus stop won't be as cold, but they still need the winter coats on there, especially for the morning hours. But 37 degrees is not too bad. 44 at noon, and then on the ride home, it'll be 45 degrees. That's what I've got going up for the high today. There will be a little uptick in cloud cover, but we'll still be melting some snow, so maybe a little bit slushy out there in a few spots. Just a couple of spots below freezing, most of the area well above. We've got 31 at Joliet, 34 though at Woodstock, 38 along Chicago's lakefront, still 41 degrees at Gary, and highs today headed for the mid-40s, maybe even a few upper 40s well south of the city. All right, I see a red number on your map, Gabriela, even though the travel time isn't that bad. What's going on the Ike?
Because we had a pretty serious crash over on the inbound side of the Eisenhower. It was at Des Plaines Avenue, involved 6 vehicles. It has just cleared, so luckily this went back down to under 25 minutes. It was up to a whole hour for a little bit because it looked like they just had a right shoulder open for people to pass through, so it wasn't totally closed. Anyway, one other thing I want to mention here on our map is an exit ramp that's going to be closed until 5 a.m. or a little after 5 a.m. it looks like now because it's still closed from my vantage point. It's on the outbound side of the Eisenhower at I-88. It's that exit ramp again for construction overnight. Your drive times looking okay. 25 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown, 20 minutes on the Stevenson, under 20 minutes on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne Interchange.
An eviction hearing will be held today for a home in LaGrange that was taken over by squatters. The home is on South Catherine and was foreclosed on last year. Police and SWAT raided the place and said that they found drugs including fentanyl. Police were told that prostitutes would frequent the home and others would cause a scene screaming outside.
The worst thing that we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of people actually going to certain windows of the house late at night, knocking on the window and then exchanging something. We can't see exactly what it is, but you can guess what they're exchanging at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Neighbors are hoping a Cook County judge will finally order that the people inside the home are removed because they're worried about their safety.
The Lake County coroner has identified the 8-year-old boy found unresponsive inside a Round Lake Beach home. He is identified as Marco Pierce. 2 people, including his own mother, are charged with murder. He was found unresponsive last Friday. Authorities say the boy appeared malnourished and had bruising on his body. 33-year-old Dominique Servant and her boyfriend, 38-year-old Joey Ruffin, are both charged with first-degree murder. Neighbors were shocked to learn this was happening next door.
I was really shocked. Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. It's really sad to hear, knowing they're just like 8 and 10 years old. You never know what's going on around you, so this was really shocking.
The boy's 10-year-old sibling was also hospitalized, showing signs of abuse and malnourishment. DCFS says the family was not receiving any services from them, and they are actively investigating the child's death.
The ransom deadline for Nancy Guthrie has come and gone with no new developments. The missing mother of TV personality Savannah Guthrie vanished from her home near Tucson, Arizona back on February 1st. So far, no suspects have been identified. FBI says they're not aware of any communication between the Guthrie family and any potential kidnappers. Savannah Guthrie shared another message to the public pleading for her mother's safe return.
So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, If you see anything, you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
We spoke with former FBI agent Ross Rice last night. He talked about the possibility that the kidnappers don't even exist.
There has been nothing from the alleged kidnappers to show what we would call proof of life, that they actually have Nancy Guthrie in their custody and possession, which is unusual in kidnapping cases. In fact, everything about this investigation so far has been very unusual. So it is a possibility that some people saw the publicity surrounding this case and they decided they were going to try and profit personally from the Guthrie family's hardship.
Authorities still have not named any suspects, persons of interest, or even a motive.
A woman accused of shooting and killing a man in Oak Brook Terrace is expected in court today. Crystal Woods was arrested in Wisconsin over the weekend. She's accused of shooting and killing a man in a parking lot of an office building back on February 4th. The Daily Herald says today's court appearance will be about her extradition.
A $10,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of in the murder of an OEMC employee. 36-year-old Deja Flowers was found dead last Friday morning in her apartment in West Ridge. Police say that she had been shot multiple times.
Negotiations on a new Bear stadium are starting to heat up. Illinois lawmakers are making their case to keep them in the state. Representatives from the governor's office, legislative leaders, and the Bears are close to an agreement on major issue the Bears are seeking to move forward in Arlington Heights. That's according to sources close to ongoing talks. The key issues: public financing for infrastructure and the so-called pilot bill that would give the Bears and other mega developers the ability to negotiate property tax rates directly with their municipality.
A lot of discussion, a lot of ongoing conversation with the Bears, and indeed, frankly, progress that's been made. So I'm pleased about that. But I'm going to let the Bears talk about what it is that they want to get done and how they want to get it done.
Indiana's counterparts have passed their bill out of the state Senate and are planning to move it in the state House as well.
Well, people in Arlington Heights are planning a rally to get the Bears to move there. The event is being called Springfield Kickoff, Bring the Bears to Arlington Heights. It is happening tomorrow at the DoubleTree Arlington Heights Hotel. It's being put together by Touchdown Arlington, a coalition of business owners who support bringing the Bears there.
All right, 5:07, the Bulls are still searching for their first win since the trade deadline.
So far, all those guards not quite working out, Mike.
No, to say the least. In fact, if the season ended today, the Bulls would not make the play-in now. They're 11th.
Well, we need the draft pick, so I'm not mad about it.
That's right. There may be benefit to that. All right, the Bulls had an opportunity to get a win in Brooklyn against a dreadful Nets team. They kept the game close. Anthony Simons looking pretty good, one of the new Bulls. He led the way with 23. The Nets center, Nick Claxton, he was simply too much. He finishes with 28 points. Here, watch this. The Bulls go down to lose 123-115. They've now lost 5 in a row. Yeah, this is a pretty kind of a slam. There's a throw in there. The Bulls have not won yet in February. Here's some exciting news. Pitchers and catchers report to spring training today for the White Sox. And there is more hope heading into the 2026 season for the Sox. They had a productive offseason, adding some veterans to a young roster. General Manager Chris Getz talked about the upcoming season.
We're excited. There's a fair amount of momentum that's been created both, because of the second half last year, some of the acquisitions that we were able to make in the offseason. But I know that Will's really focused to start at ground zero and start from zero and get to work both fundamentally, ease these guys into playing time. So we're off and ready to go come opening day. So, we feel really good about where we're at. The room is excited. They're hungry. But we got to go out and play good baseball, and that's why we're out here in spring training to really set the stage for that.
It's going to be a 40 home run season for Mr. Montgomery. Brian, what do you think about that? I would be satisfied with that. Cubs, their pitchers and catchers, they're going to report tomorrow. All right, one of the 2 unbeaten teams in college basketball has lost their first game, and it is number 1 ranked Arizona. Wildcats were taking on another blue blood, Kansas, and the Jayhawks last night. got it done without their star guard, Darren Peterson. Didn't matter. After trailing by 3 at the half, Kansas came out on top, 82-78, handing Arizona their first loss of the season. Miami of Ohio is currently the only unbeaten team left. And the only reason why they're not higher in the rankings is because who have they played again? All right, take a look at this. An ugly scene in the NBA last night. A brawl broke out between the Hornets and Pistons in the third quarter down in Charlotte. There were some punches thrown. 4 players get the boot. Emotions definitely high. Pistons, they are the top team in the Eastern Conference, and the Hornets have been red hot, having won 10 in a row. But the Pistons win the game, 110-104. Several of these gentlemen are going to be losing something out of their accounts, I think, as we move forward later this week. All right, let's talk about the weather here. We have clear to partly cloudy skies out there right now. And depending on where you are, you might be close to 40 degrees right now. Look at Waukegan, 39, 38 at the lakefront in Midway, 38 at Merrillville. It is 41 at Gary. Couple of spots a little bit colder. Aurora, Sugar Grove, 27. And in Morris, it is 31 degrees. Likewise, 31 at Joliet. But these numbers are way above the normal low this time of year, and in many cases above the normal high. Winds out of the southwest currently. They will start to shift to more of a northwest direction here later today. And it is going to be kind of blustery out there. Not super windy, but I think we'll see winds about 10 to 20. Take a look at this week and a half long forecast. If the mid-40s aren't enough for you as we go through the weekend, including Valentine's Day, take a look at what we have coming in here next week. After a 48 Monday, possibility of getting into the 60s here Tuesday, close to it Wednesday and Thursday, and even with the cool down coming on Friday, temperatures in the mid-40s. This is unseasonable warmth on the way, and that snow that may be on the ground, it is going away here over the coming days. No big storm systems to deal with. We'll see a mixture of clouds and sun today. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy and seasonably chilly. High pressure coming in. Going to steer away any big storm systems. We'll watch this one. I still think that is largely a miss to our southwest. I have no important storm systems in the forecast for the foreseeable future. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, Mike.
Immigration enforcement efforts will be one of the topics of a hearing on Capitol Hill today.
We're talking with political analyst Doug Luzader about what we can expect right after this break. Now in Good Day Chicago, an eviction hearing will be held today for a home in LaGrange that has been taken over by squatters. The home is on South Catherine and was foreclosed on last year. Police and SWAT raided the place and say they found drugs, including fentanyl. Police were also told that prostitutes would frequent this house.
A $10,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest in the murder of an OEMC employee. 36-year-old Deja Flowers was found dead last Friday morning in her apartment in West Ridge. They said that she was shot multiple times.
Pitchers and catchers report to Arizona for spring training today for the White Sox. Their first spring training game is against the Cubs on the 20th of this month. The Cubs pitchers and catchers report to Arizona tomorrow. 5:15 now. It's going to be a fiery day on Capitol Hill as ICE and customs officials appear before a House committee.
They're expected to be hammered this morning by Democrats over some of the stepped-up immigration enforcement efforts. Doug Luzader is live in Washington this morning. So, Doug, why is the timing of this hearing so critical?
Well, look, we've got a lot going on here on the Hill this morning, and there's going to be a lot of pent-up energy from Democrats here to really go after these DHS officials who are going to be appearing, including one official from ICE. This is something that Democrats have been calling for a long time. This is going to get pretty heated. What comes out of this ultimately, it's difficult to say. I mean, we have this funding fight that's going on with the Department of Homeland Security with this rapidly approaching deadline on Friday where the entire department runs out of funding for the most part. I mean, there's a big asterisk to that because you have ICE that already is funded through the rest of the fiscal year. But Democrats are hoping to extract some concessions here, changing the way ICE operates, banning face masks, requiring judicial warrants. I mean, they have a whole laundry list of items they want to see happen here. But Republicans are really opposed to a lot of these things. So this really is a standoff, and it's not clear whether it's going to be resolved in time by Friday.
Maybe we could touch on that a little bit more, Doug, but because it's not just Democrats who have questions for these officials. It seems like some Republicans also have some questions as well.
Well, they've got to figure out what the middle ground here is going to be. Already there's broad agreement that ICE agents should have cameras, body-worn cameras. That's something that was really kind of worked out before all of this, but it's been kind of a work in motion. So it looks like that's going to happen. But, even there, Democrats have some demands in terms of how that footage can be used, whether it can be used to track protesters, for instance, those kinds of things. So, again, a lot to work out here and not much time.
Yes, that deadline's coming up on Friday. Doug, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, 5:17. Mike Kaplan joins us here. And look at that live picture. It looks nice and still. And that's what I got outside, too. I was like, finally, I'm not facing any wind and snow.
Even put on a lighter jacket slightly.
Yeah, and I think you can get away with that lighter jacket for the next probably at least week and a half. Okay. And there may be a day or two next week where maybe a windbreaker is all you're going to need. We'll see. I mentioned earlier today I don't want to put the cart before the horse here.
That's true.
But it sure
but you know how mad we're going to be at you if it does go back down to like 15
we get 8 more inches of snow?
No, don't say it. Don't say it. All right, out there this morning, the kids definitely need a winter coat for the morning hours, but that ride home, mid-40s, not too shabby. It will be a little bit breezy out there, but we are going to be melting a lot, so maybe, some shoes that aren't going to get trashed by some of the gunk that's on the pavement out there with melting snow, especially from piles that have been plowed up. We have 34 degrees at Woodstock and DeKalb. It is 36 at LaSalle, Peru. I'll tell you what. You folks there in LaSalle, Ottawa, Utica, you may get to 50 this afternoon. How about that? 31 at Joliet, 37 at O'Hare. We've got 41 at Gary, 37 at Michigan City. And in Benton Harbor, it is 39 degrees. This is the extended temperature outlook. February 18th through the 24th, and it is still favored to be warmer than normal. High confidence in it being warmer than normal pretty much anywhere in the country east of the Rockies. Today, way above normal, 45 degrees for the high. Northwest winds at a pretty good clip, 10 to 20 miles per hour. There is a cold front coming through the area this morning, but the air is not really cold behind it. Yeah, we'll shave a few degrees off the temperatures tomorrow, but it'll still be warmer than normal. 28 degrees tonight, partly cloudy. I'm going to say that's seasonably chilly. Remember, there have been a lot of days where we haven't had a high of 28 degrees. Every single day, warmer than normal. Tomorrow and Thursday, upper 30s. I'm going to mention just a small chance that areas well southwest of the city might get a little rain or wet snow Thursday evening. It is not a big deal. 44 on Friday, 45 for Valentine's Day, 42 on Sunday. And then we start that next surge of warmth with a 48-degree high on Monday. All right, Gabrielle, you said we had some good news there on the Eisenhower. That situation is cleared up. What else is going on?
Yeah, don't be alarmed about that red little square that you see there, because we're well under 25 minutes on the Eisenhower for inbound trip. Under 25 on the Kennedy and Stevenson as well. Still under 20 minutes for inbound trip on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne interchange. So I have no new incidents on our roadways, but I do want to warn you, if you're taking the Brown Line this morning, some loop-bound Brown Line trains are delayed because of an earlier door problem. It's just a minor delay, and it was that door problem was happening at Rockville. So service is resuming. Just allow some extra time for yourself.
Well, we told you all about the thefts of Honda airbags across the city. One expert explains why these airbags are being targeted.
And opening statements begin in a landmark trial over who is to blame for the addictive nature of social media. All that after the break. Big names Meta, along with Google, returned to a Los Angeles courtroom in a landmark case accusing them of designing apps to hook young users.
Opening statements were delivered yesterday. Now, at the center of this trial is a woman who claims the app's addictive features caused her physical and emotional harm as a child. Her attorney said that they have internal documents from Meta employees comparing themselves to, quote, drug pushers.
The more time they drive to their platforms, the more money they're able to garner. It's an attention economy that they're working.
The companies dispute the claim, citing safeguards that they've added over the years. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is expected to testify in this trial.
There's a new top agent at the helm of the Drug Enforcement Administration's Chicago Field Division. Todd Smith is a 21-year veteran of the DEA and becomes the highest-ranking official at the agency in Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. He previously testified as a drug trafficking expert in El Chapo's trial. He tells us that the agents are seeing a spike in the use of a newer street drug called Tusi. It's typically a combination of cocaine and ketamine that's dyed pink. He also says that Chicago remains a major hub for drug trafficking for cartels, and talked about the other drugs that agents are intercepting right now.
Fentanyl continues to drive overdose across Chicago. Our agents and task force officers are focused on fentanyl investigations, but we're also equally focused on methamphetamine and cocaine. Carfentanil is similar to fentanyl, but it's 100 times more potent. So it's extremely dangerous. We're seeing it mixed into the illicit fentanyl supply, both in powder and pills, counterfeit pills.
Between 2024 and 2025, the DEA's Chicago Field Division seized over 100,000 counterfeit carfentanil pills. We're hearing from an auto expert on the rash of airbag thefts across the Chicago area.
As we were telling you last week, CPD says at least 20 cars parked in the neighborhoods Jefferson Park, Uptown, and Bucktown have all been broken into over the past 6 weeks. Those break-ins started back in late December. Police say that the majority of the vehicles targeted are late model Hondas. On Chicago Live, we spoke to Jeff Cox with the Automotive Maintenance and Repair Association. He talked about why these Hondas are being targeted.
Hondas specifically are targeted because the ease of stealing the airbags. It only takes the thieves a few minutes to be able to get the airbag out from the vehicle. Also, Hondas are they're everywhere. You know, they're a very common car, and so many people, with so many of them on the road, it creates a demand for them.
So far, no arrests have been made in these latest airbag thefts.
526. I do have a prediction for today.
Okay.
I do have a prediction that people are going to be in very good mood, including myself, because of the warmer weather.
You think so?
I think so.
I like your prediction there.
Put some money.
Are we getting some sun in addition to the warmer temperatures?
Yes, and we have some moon out there right now. I don't know if we can get this tight shot from our 2800 camera of the moon, but it's behind me there, and it's also very close to the bright star Antares. You know anybody who's a Scorpio?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
probably. I just don't know.
Off the top of our head, right.
Scorpio, to be honest.
Yeah, the constellation Scorpius is where Scorpios are home. All right, yeah, there, right back there. Here you see the moon, and right over there, I believe, is Antares. All right, let's talk about the weather out there. We are going to see a good deal of sunshine today. We have a few stars visible tonight, and temperatures are on the mild side, particularly given the time of day. Now, there's still some snow on the ground. This map shows U.S. snow cover. May have mentioned this yesterday. There's precious little snow. I mean, you see some snow out there in the mountains, but this is nothing compared to how much they usually have on the ground out there. And this is going to be problematic come springtime. You see a lot of snow in the Northeast, even into parts of the Mid-Atlantic. In the Chicago area, yes, there is still some patchy snow on the ground. Even in the areas where we have a little cover out there, we're looking at maybe 3 inches left. That is going away in coming days because temperatures are going to be really mild. Let's get it up to 45 today. A little warmer well southwest of the city, where I think parts of Grundy, maybe Kankakee, LaSalle County, you could be close to 50 this afternoon. Maybe a couple of degrees less warm far north, but northwest wind at 10 to 20. It'll make it feel a little bit cooler out there, but with sunshine, 45 on the 10th of February, I'll take it. Tonight, a low of 28, partly cloudy skies, still fairly comfortable. And a quick check of that 7-day forecast, every day warmer than normal. Over the weekend, looking good for Valentine's Day, 45, and up to 48 degrees here on Monday. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike.
Stick around. We got more news and weather and traffic to come this morning on Good Day. We'll be right back.
All of it.
All of it.
Edens Plaza and Wilmette.
Now, Good Day Chicago, an eviction hearing will be held today as neighbors in LaGrange are fed up over a house that has been taken over by squatters.
A ransom deadline has come and gone in the case of Nancy Guthrie. We have the latest in her disappearance.
And some possible movement in a positive direction for keeping the Bears here in Illinois. Mike.
All right, we have some sunshine on the way today, and temperatures are going to safely make it well into the 40s. And it may get even significantly warmer next week, but let's just enjoy the 40s while we can. Are folks enjoying their commute so far this morning, Gabrielle?
Mike, I would say so. We're still looking at okay drive times and no new incidents to report. We had that pretty major crash on the inbound side of the Eisenhower at Des Plaines way earlier this morning. That's why we saw a little bit of red at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. But here now at 5:30, we're still under 25 minutes on the Kennedy, Eisenhower, and on the Stevenson, under 20 minutes on the Dan Ryan. And don't forget about those minor delays on the Brown line because of an earlier door problem at a train on Rockwell. Service is resuming there, so last an extra time.
An eviction hearing will be held today for a home in LaGrange that has been taken over by squatters. The home is located on South Catherine and was foreclosed on last year. Police and SWAT raided the place and said that they found drugs, including fentanyl. Police were told that prostitutes would frequent the home and others would cause a scene outside, even screaming.
The worst thing that we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of people actually going to certain windows of the house late at night, knocking on the window and then exchanging something. We can't see exactly what it is, but you can guess what they're exchanging at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Neighbors are now hoping that a Cook County judge will finally order that the people inside the home are removed because they're worried about their safety.
The Lake County coroner has identified the 8-year-old boy found unresponsive inside a Round Lake Beach home. He's identified as Marco Pierce. 2 people, including his own mother, are charged with murder. He was found unresponsive last Friday. Authorities say the boy appeared malnourished and had bruising on his body. 33-year-old Dominique Servant and her boyfriend, 38-year-old Joey Ruffin, are both charged with first-degree murder. Neighbors were shocked to learn that this was happening next door.
I was really shocked. Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. It's really sad to hear, knowing they're just like 8 and 10 years old. You never know what's going on around you. So this was really shocking.
The boy's 10-year-old sibling was also hospitalized, showing signs of abuse and malnourishment as well. DCFS says the family was not receiving any services from them, and they are actively investigating the child's death.
The ransom deadline for Nancy Guthrie has come and gone with no new developments. The missing mother of TV personality Savannah Guthrie vanished from her home near Tucson, Arizona on February 1st. The FBI says that they are not aware of any communication between the Guthrie family and any potential kidnappers. Savannah Guthrie shared another message to the public, pleading for her mother's safe return.
So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
We spoke with former FBI agent Ross Rice last night. He spoke about the possibility that these kidnappers don't even exist.
There has been nothing from the alleged kidnappers to show what we would call proof of life, that they actually have Nancy Guthrie in their custody and possession, which is unusual in kidnapping cases. In fact, everything about this investigation so far has been very unusual. So it is a possibility that some people saw the publicity surrounding this case and they decided they were going to try and profit personally from the Guthrie family's hardship.
Authorities still have not named any suspects, persons of interest, or a motive.
A woman accused of shooting and killing a man in Oak Brook Terrace is expected in court today. Crystal Woods was arrested in Wisconsin over the weekend. She's accused of shooting and killing a man in a parking lot of an office building back on February 4th. The Daily Herald says today's court appearance will be about her extradition.
A $10,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest and the murder of an OEMC employee. 36-year-old Deja Flowers was found dead last Friday morning in her apartment in West Ridge. Police say that she was shot multiple times.
Negotiations on a new Bears stadium are starting to heat up. Illinois lawmakers are making their case to keep the team in our state. Representatives from the governor's office, legislative leaders, and the Bears are close to an agreement on major issues the Bears are seeking to move forward in Arlington Heights. That's according to sources that are close to ongoing talks. The key issues: public financing for infrastructure and the so-called pilot bill that would give the Bears and other mega developers the ability to negotiate property tax rates directly with their municipality.
A lot of discussion, a lot of ongoing conversation with the Bears, and indeed, frankly, progress that's been made. So I'm pleased about that. But I'm going to let the Bears talk about what it is that they want to get done and how they want to get it done.
Indiana's counterparts have passed their bill out of the state Senate and are planning to move it in the state House as well.
All right, time is now 5:37. Know a lot of folks are just getting their day started. Mike, so what's on tap for this Tuesday?
A little warmer than it was yesterday, and yesterday wasn't too shabby. Upper 30s and low 40s. Today, mid 40s and a few spots, I think especially well southwest of the city, going to hit 50 degrees today. So maybe a lighter jacket than what you've been accustomed to wearing here for the past several weeks. The thaw continues, and in many areas it's been above freezing all night long. 39 at 9, 44 at noon, breezy, and there'll still be some sunshine out there at 4 o'clock with a temperature of 41 degrees. Right now at O'Hare, some high clouds and 37. We have a west-southwest wind at 8. Wind chill is 31 degrees. I mean, it's chilly out there, but these temperatures already above the normal high. There are a couple of colder spots. We've got 27 at Sugar Grove, 30 degrees at Morris, but we've got 41 degrees in Gary, 39 at Waukegan. That's warmer than it got all day yesterday there. Cloud cover today. It'll be a mixture of some high clouds and sunshine. I think the thicker cloud cover is going to end up kind of traversing the northern tier of counties, but everybody's going to see sunshine today and mild temperatures. Tonight will be partly cloudy, maybe a little uptick in cloud cover toward daybreak tomorrow, and then those clouds scatter out so that we have a good deal of sunshine tomorrow afternoon. It will not be as warm tomorrow as it is today, but it's still going to be several degrees warmer than normal. And by the time we get to Thursday, the next storm system, I think it's going to be largely a mist to the southwest. If anybody's going to get anything out of that Thursday system, I would say maybe LaSalle, Livingston County, Chicagoland for the most part, nada. 45 today. Northwest winds will blow at pretty good speeds later today, 10 to 20 miles per hour, but these temperatures good 10 to 12 degrees warmer than normal. Coming up on 540. We'll be right back after this.
32 Chicago.
We're learning more about what led to the death of legendary actress Catherine O'Hara. A death certificate from the LA County Medical Examiner's Office says that her cause of death was from a pulmonary embolism with rectal cancer as the underlying cause. The oncologist who signed off on the certificate indicated that he had been treating her since last March. Catherine O'Hara was 71 years old.
For the first time, members of Congress got to review unredacted files connected to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. They can only review the files in person, and they'll have to give advance notice and use Justice Department computers. While they can take some notes, they won't be able to make any copies. Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin reviewed documents yesterday. He believes there were a lot of unnecessary redactions in the files released to the public. He's worried Americans are not taking the accusations seriously.
I mean, it's an incredibly serious thing. When you read through these files and you read about 15-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls, 10-year-old girls. I saw a mention of a 9-year-old girl today. I mean, this is just preposterous and scandalous.
So far, the Justice Department has released over 3.5 million pages of documents concerning the Epstein's case, along with 180,000 images and 2,000 videos.
Epstein's former girlfriend and confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell, pled the fifth during a virtual deposition into the House Oversight investigation into the Epstein files. She's also seeking clemency from President Trump, and she maintains that she was wrongfully convicted.
He could rule out clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell, the monster. He could rule out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, the monster. The question for all of us today is, why hasn't he done that? And why won't he do that?
Unfortunately, she had an opportunity today to answer questions that every American has, questions that would be very important in this investigation, and she chose to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights.
Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence at a federal facility in Texas for sex trafficking.
President Trump is standing firm on not apologizing for the controversial video he shared depicting former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. When asked about it while aboard Air Force One, the president said the video was more so about fraudulent elections.
I looked at the beginning of it, it was fine. They had that one post, and I guess it was a takeoff. By the way, a lot of people covered, if you look at where it came from, I guess it was a takeoff on The Lion King. And certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it. And probably they would have had the sense to take it down.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called the outrage over the post, quote, fake, but the video was later deleted, and the White House says the clip was posted, quote, erroneously. Cardinal Blaise Cupich is now calling on the White House to issue an apology over the post. He says, quote, portraying human beings as animals, less than human, is not new. It was a common way in past centuries for politicians and others to demean immigrant groups as each arrived. He ended his statement by saying, quote, our shock is real, so is our outrage. Nothing less than unequivocal apology to a nation and to persons demeaned is acceptable.
The White House is denying Illinois' appeal for major disaster declaration following some severe summer storms. Governor Pritzker requested federal assistance for several communities, all impacted by severe flooding in August. The flooding resulted in widespread property damage, power outages, and disruption to transportation and essential services. But FEMA is standing by its initial decision, saying that federal help is not warranted. Governor Pritzker is responding, calling this decision politically motivated. He says it punishes thousands of Illinois families. The governor added, quote, playing politics with disaster relief funding is a new low, even for the Trump administration.
We're now learning nearly 3.3 million students in Illinois attend districts that are underfunded, and the kids hardest hit come from low-income and minority communities. State lawmakers are now pushing new legislation designed to close the more than $3 billion gap in evidence-based funding. The goal is to even the playing field for minority and low-income families who often don't receive the same levels of financial support for things like nutrition, transportation, social work, and counseling.
Illinois requires schools to meet critical obligations like special education services, transportation for students with disabilities, and other mandated categoricals. These are not optional. They are legal and moral requirements. And if we require our schools to provide them, the state has an obligation to fund them.
Lawmakers have until next year to get all schools in the state fully funded. The deadline was set back in 2017.
All right, time's now 5:47 this morning. Stick around. We got more news, weather, and traffic on the way.
Now, Good Day Chicago, and a hearing will be held today for a home in LaGrange that has been taken over by squatters. The home is on South Catherine and was foreclosed on last year. Police on spot raided the place and say they found drugs, including fentanyl. Police were also told that prostitutes would frequent this house.
A $10,000 reward is being offered for any information leading to an arrest in the murder of an OEMC employee. 36-year-old Deja Flowers was found dead last Friday morning inside of her apartment in Westridge. Police said that she was shot multiple times.
Pitchers and catchers report to Arizona for spring training today for the White Sox. Their first spring training game is against the Cubs on the 20th of this month. Cubs pitchers and catchers report to Arizona tomorrow. Now, we're hearing from an auto expert on the rash of airbag thefts across the Chicago area.
Yeah, we were telling you about this last week. CPD says at least 20 cars parked in Jefferson Park, Uptown, and Bucktown have been broken into over the last 6 weeks. These break-ins started back in late December. Police say that the majority of the vehicles targeted are late-model Hondas. On Chicago Live, we spoke with Jeff Cox with the Automotive Maintenance and Repair Association. He explained why these Hondas are being targeted.
Hondas specifically are targeted because the ease of stealing the airbags. It only takes the thieves a few minutes to be able to get the airbag out from the vehicle. Also, Hondas are they're everywhere. You know, they're a very common car, and so many people, with so many of them on the road, it creates a demand for them.
So far, no arrests have been made in these latest airbag thefts.
A Super Bowl ad for the Ring doorbell cameras getting some pushback. They introduced a new feature that can identify missing pets. There were plenty of questions on social media regarding privacy concerns.
People are busy, and tech companies know that, and that's why they frame things the way they do. It makes it very hard to track what's going on, and that's part of why, for people that work in this space, like this is my full-time job, tracking what's going on with these companies, it's really refreshing seeing that there was such a strong public reaction to something that we've been very worried about for a while, which is law enforcement partnering with Ring, which is essentially a lot of tiny surveillance cameras all around the neighborhood.
Ring says this was built only to track pets and that it's an opt-in system.
All right, time is now 5:53. We're talking about pitchers and catchers reporting soon this week. That makes us feel like spring is closer than further away.
Yes, I'm with you. The fact that it's, getting brighter early, staying brighter longer, we're headed in the right direction. And thermally, we are headed in a more spring-like direction. That's for sure. Out there at O'Hare, it is 37. We have a west-southwest wind at 8. Later today, the wind is going to shift around to the northwest, and that will be behind a cold front. But there's no real cold air coming in behind that thing. Won't be as warm tomorrow as it is here today, but it will still be warmer than normal. Cold spot is Aurora's Airport, 27 there. We got 34, though, at Woodstock, 39 at Waukegan, 37 at Chicago's Lakefront. Gary's still up there with a 41, and it's 39 down the road in Merrillville. Temperatures now, compared with 5 a.m. yesterday, quite a bit warmer. In fact, look at that LaSalle, Peru number, 20 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. It is 15 degrees warmer than at 5 a.m. yesterday at Midway. Today, let's go for 45. Northwest winds, a pretty good clip, so it is going to be blustery this afternoon. We'll go from kind of mostly sunny in the morning to partly sunny in the afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, seasonably chilly, won't be as windy. Northwest winds 5 to 15, and most of us will see our lows in the upper 20s, which isn't that far afield from the normal high this time of year. Yes, it will not be as mild tomorrow or Thursday. Upper 30s, though, still above normal. Every single day in this forecast, warmer than normal. A very small chance that part of the area might see a little wet snow shower or some rain Thursday late in the day. Most of us get nothing. In fact, nothing all week. Storm system over the weekend way to the south, so your Valentine's Day is looking good. 45 degrees, 42 on Sunday, then up to 48 degrees on Monday, and that could be the beginning of a really big warm-up next week. All right, got a couple of lovely photos to share with you. How about this pretty sky? George Tamalunas in Valparaiso giving us a look underneath some of that cirrocumulus cloud cover as the sun was coming up. That is a pretty shot there, George. Thanks for that one. And our second photo this hour, this is an ice volcano. Max Weisviz sent this in. It looks like a volcano, and it's shaped that way. This is actually created by water from the lake being forced up through cracks in the ice. Big wave action causes this to kind of pile up into a great big conical shaped pile of ice, and sometimes water can actually shoot through the top of that thing depending on wave action. Max, that's a cool pic. Be careful if you see any of these out there. Don't go walking onto them and just assume that it's going to support your weight. This is often a time of year when a lot of folks get into trouble by walking out on the ice. 5:56, we're coming right back with more of Good Day after this.
Welcome back. Here's the latest on Good Day Chicago just before 6 a.m.
Well, the Trump administration may soon reverse an Obama-era scientific climate finding. The Wall Street Journal reports that the administration is planning to reverse the 2009